Hello everyone. So let's just try to finish it off our approaches. So understand where were we till now? We were at behavioralism, right? And I told you that you have to just understand behavioralism with one word, that is science. What kind of science? Pure science. So what were these behavioralist guys trying to do? They were trying to make sure that by this political science as a field is kafi vahiyat because it is not able to explain anything, and it is always trying to take cue from various approaches, let's say philosophical or let's say from the legal angle, but yet it is not able to do or provide anything. It is just an armchair theories, not of any practical use. So there is a vast gap between what they preach, what they tell, what they preach about the various theories, but when we see on ground, there is no similarity between the two. So, according to them, better way is maths, better way is statistics. This seems to them as better way. And understand, this was the time when Albert Einstein, Niels Bohr, etc. were coming to prominence. So obviously, the role of science was very much, and I told you that after World War II, the whole development of political science shifted from Europe to United States of America. Obviously, United States was the only power which was in shape to tackle various ideological changes that were going on at the time of Cold War, and Europe definitely was in devastated mode. It was completely in annihilation. It was not at all fit to even deliver a, let's say, nut or bolt, let alone a whole political science doctrine they could further upon. So obviously, who will be the first persons to criticize this? To understand what behavioralism stand for is basically, let's say you have to talk about a event, मान लो कुछ हुआ, so they will want कि चलो let's wait for few weeks. I think I did this when I told you let's assume कि lynching, then you can see कि regular interval you are seeing witnessing the event of lynching. So it is not an event. What is an event? Event is, let's say, your 9/11 incidents of 9/11, the attacks on the World Trade Center. Now that was a one time event. It does not mean that it is a regular phenomena. What is the criteria for phenomena? That it should have a regularity, that is, it should have a periodical movement. I am not saying that every 4 days, every 5 days, but it should have a repetitive nature. It should be coming, and you should be in a, obviously when something is periodical in nature, something is repetitive in nature, you should be in a position to predict what, on what circumstances are these events dancing around. So obviously, who will try to give criticism for it? So obviously, our previous guys, previous political scientists, who were not even acknowledged and called upon the various conferences under the ambit of United Nations. Now, these were our traditionalists. They are the same ones who were engaged in the, let's say, your philosophical approaches, historical approaches, or law or legal comparative approaches. Now, obviously, when I say comparative approaches, you have to understand that comparative in this sense is just about comparing constitution, because obviously there is nothing else. Your society is very, very homogeneous. You talk about celebrating Christmas, so United States also celebrating Christmas on 25th December, and Britain also, and so is France, and so is Germany. So there is not much very difference in the culture of any of the European nations or the United States of America. The problem will arise only when new kind of states will develop. When will these new kind of states develop? New kind of states will develop only after decolonization. So understand, these are not states where naturally periodically democracy has risen. No, this is not like that. They were here being barbaric, मान लो के थे, and then something happened, and then अचानक से they have democracy. So obviously the society was not suited for democracy, as they have said many times, and because of that we saw many arbitrariness in the regimes. Let's say even in Pakistan or Bangladesh, as I told you, sometimes there is democracy, sometimes the military take over. Right now also there is democracy on face, but we know in reality what is going on with that, right? No, but again in Pakistan also Supreme Court has said that bhai, we are not supposed to give you 6 month or let's say 3 years extension. To whom? The Pakistani Army General. So Pakistani Supreme Court is showing teeth now. It is now starting. I think it is time that Supreme Court is telling people that bhai, the rule of army is little bit over. But okay, we will see. But then again, Pakistan is in such turmoil with sanctions from FATF, Financial Action Task Force. Okay, it is not able to move money here and there. It is in gray list. So I think that is also a factor for that. But then again, coming back to our topic, behavioralism. So understand, traditionalists are one of the one of the parties giving a criticism, and what their criticism will be will obviously be that bhaiya, you are decreasing the scope of the subject. See, because obviously you cannot quantify everything, you cannot use mathematics and statistics everywhere. Okay, somewhere you can have, and you have given us very big achievements such as electoral politics. When we talk about electoral politics, definitely parties have better advantage and better policy directions to what measures to take upon. But then again, you are not letting us play. Let's say this is the playground, but you are limiting us to play only here. This is not fair. We should play in the whole area. This is a very wide field. So obviously dissatisfaction will grow. Understand what is the core idea of behavioralism is making political science pure science. So understand what their core is. Their core is all about technique, that we should make sure that our technique is better and better. What kind of technique? More scientific, more scientific, more scientific, more scientific in nature. But understand, always if you consider anyone thesis, let's say behavioralism is a thesis, or let's say behavioralism is an antithesis to whom? Let's say traditionalists were the thesis. This is very random thing I'm doing. Let's consider traditional thesis, so behavioralism become antithesis. Now obviously one has to stay, so who will win? Behavioralists win, I told you, because traditionalists were lost. They were not invited to the conferences under the ambit of United Nations. Behavioralists were, and they took over. But then again, they also started decline. See, political science was declining first time when because of traditionalists, because traditionalists were not able to give finite answers. Then the second time, political science, now it becomes pure science. Obviously, area is not completely marked, only few areas you are able to decode. So this antithesis and thesis fighting became synthesis. So again this synthesis will become your thesis, and what will emerge now? Antithesis. What is the thesis right now? Behavioralism, because it won. But then again behavioralism will die, or let's say decline. What will be the reason? Dissatisfaction. And because of this dissatisfaction, we will see the emergence of post behavioralism as declination of political science. Second time because of whom? Obviously because of behavioralist. Why? Because obviously they were not able to utilize the field properly, they were not able to navigate the field properly, they limited the scope because of their, what was their core method? Technique. Because of their technique, not always you can apply these techniques, and their emphasis upon one very core aspect, that bhaiya, do not associate value with any research. Let's say you are researching for hunger, so do not put value in it कि भाई everybody should have food in it, everybody should have a security of food security. Do not attach value for it. Do not attach what? Basically do not attach what is right and what is wrong. Just tell us what? Facts. We do not need anything else. But we will see rise of post behavioralism, and with this we are going to understand two very interesting things. First thing, as I told you, वर्ल्ड वॉर से पहले who was the winner, let's say who were the sole advisors, political scientists, traditionalists, these were the approaches. After World War II, behavioralists took over. But then again, understand this thing. After behavioralist, behavioralist won over traditionalist, and behavioralist के ऊपर who will win? Post behavior, post behavioralism, post behavioralist. Now what do these post behavioralists want? So understand, they said कि भैया your problem was that you were not able to navigate the field properly. You were able to only roam in this area, this much area you are leaving. Why? Because of your technique. And why was technique important? Because you wanted to make this science pure science. So understand, let's not make it pure. Why? Because understand, they said, according to them, political science is not pure science. Political science is in fact applied science. You have to apply science. ठीक है? So what is important is, here the core will be your purpose. Understand the purpose of the research. Let's say you are understanding what are the north and south divide. These are the north countries, these are the south countries. Let's say this is Africa and this is India, etc. So you will see that south countries are mostly poor, north countries are very very rich. You have to understand now from scientific method also, you understand sorry, drain of wealth हुआ है because imperialism and colonialism was very much on prominence for various, for a vast time, 200 300 years long, right? So what is important is purpose, and according to purpose you make sure कि भैया you intermingle, you make sure के बहुत सारी चीजें you are using from everybody else. Now how will you know that one approach has died? So you will know that one approach has died when that approach is not able to give you answers or give you, see, answers. So as I told you, there is no truth. This is a postmodern world. In postmodern world, there is no truth, no single answer. So understand, basically you are not able to even give us any justification which makes sense. ठीक है? So in 50s and 60s we have to understand that women movement were rising, feminism was rising, environment movement was rising, civil right movement. Blacks were demanding that we should be treated as equal as whites at various places. ठीक है? So no theorist was able to answer this question. That is why they said कि भाई it is not enough कि statistics से you will get answers. It is not possible. We have to take value back in. It is important value. So we have to understand their culture, we have to understand their values, then maybe we should predict कि what particular, let's say, society based, sector based, बहुत difference है हमारी तरह, they are not homogeneous. Okay? And because you had no answer, behavioralist, so bye bye. With this you have to understand now the third category of approaches. These are the contemporary approaches. Some of them I have already discussed with you, like postmodernism. So obviously that is one kind of a, let's say, ideology as well as your approach. Just like, let's say, which one I can say, feminist is one of an approach as well as an ideology. So do not get confused when I have to understand, okay, I'm talking about ideology. You just try to understand perspective, or let's say from ideology you get a worldview कि this is my worldview, दुनिया में ऐसा होना चाहिए and this is happening. So what is according to you the doubt? So that is a narrative that you want to show using that ideology. But when you use approach, you want to basically come to answers कि why it is happening. Obviously overlap hai, it is not much difference, but you have to understand phenomenology. Like Hannah Arendt, there is no definite answer. You will say कि भाई totalitarianism is totalitarianism. You will have to experience, you have to experience that phenomena, then only you can understand. This is their approach. Structuralist, we have seen Gramsci, we have seen Marx. So they are those. Existentialism, you have to read John Paul Sartre. I think I did it when I told about feminism, existentialist, French philosophy is the most forward one. Then we can talk about contextualist approaches and textual approaches. Now obviously these two are just same thing, that is how to read your classic text. Let's say you have to read Bible and you have to decode okay, what is written. So there one approach is, let's say, textual, where you have to understand each meaning. So thou is just you, basically they are talking about me. But when I use contextualist approach, or let's say, let's take another classic, let's call Mahabharata. So when I call about Mahabharat, here in textual approach, we will say कि भाई Mahabharat में there are five sons of king. They are called as Pandavas. But when use contextualist approach, I have to apply those same principles of five Pandavas to current times, because only then that text has any value. Why is any text written? So that I can transmit my knowledge from one generation to another. Now what is the use of that generation? So that that generation could see what mistakes I made in this generation and apply those concepts in that generation. That is the only use for that, right? So there is no use if you just understand from that generation okay, okay, this was happening at that time. No, understand from your perspective also. Understand that for property, brothers can fight. Isn't it not true? Even today, Anil Ambani versus Mukesh Ambani. Did not that happen? Didn't we see that? So that happens. It is true even today. So we are done with our approaches. Okay. So maybe I should have taken it last time only. But then again, I'm just trying to make sure okay, what gaps I have to fill before I move forward. So, okay.